and welcome everybody to the 12 o'clock show with Mayor Joe. And we are here today doing a really tough thing. We're here at the Franklin County Dog Center. I appreciate it. Thank you for the invite and coming here. And first of all, introduce yourself and then introduce your friend.
My name is Kate Persinger, and I'm the director here at the Franklin County Dog Shelter. And I have a big Frenchie with me here, and she is a stray, and I've been befriending her with salami.
Yep.
So she tends to like that, so that's what I've been calling her.
Well, I mean, that's exactly, talk about a perfect case. A stray came in, she doesn't look like she's a stray, so she's probably got a family somewhere around in there.
At one time, yes.
So
yes.
I would say that this is probably the best part of your job, but if not, what is the best part of your job?
I don't know that there's one part that's the best part, because always reuniting lost dogs with their family is always very, very special, and it's a great feeling. But also when you have a family come in that's always been looking for a dog, and they come to the shelter and they find something they weren't expecting, and it's just like love at first sight, and it's a perfect fit. That's always a great thing as well. Or you get somebody who has never opened themselves up to a shelter, or think of it always being doom and gloom, and they come here and they just fall in love with the work, and see all the work that we do here at the shelter and fall in love with it. That's also a great thing as well. So I don't know that there is one thing.
Well, it's a beautiful facility, obviously, and yes, I know. So if you're even still paying attention to what we're talking about, this is a wonderful little example of this. Now, there's always misconceptions, other than the fact you mentioned kind of like people thinking shelters are doom and gloom or something like that. But what's the biggest misconception you feel that people have about this dog shelter?
I think the misconception is, maybe a century ago, shelters were the best kept secret of county government. They would be located out by landfills and things. That's just not the case anymore. County governments and even city governments now understand the importance that animals bring to lives and families, and that they're part of our family. So they invest in shelters, they invest in animals, and so our commissioners, by all means, I have to give them the utmost respect and thanks for the budget they do give us. Every single dog that comes into this shelter is seen by a veterinarian, and they are vaccinated, and before they go out for adoption, they're spayed or neutered. If they've got some minor medical, they receive that care as well. They're microchipped, they're licensed. If they need a little bit of dental, that's done as well on them. But they're very, very well cared for here in this shelter, and we've got some of the best animal enrichment you could ever imagine.
Yeah, and your staff was incredibly friendly when we walked in. It was which is just a welcoming thing all the way across. And I think our friend was actually looking to see if anybody was bringing other treats in. That's what you noticed by looking off camera with that. Now, take not this one, but just take in general. So what's the process if I come in today and I'm looking to adopt a pet? Don't worry, my wife, who's hopefully watching, I'm not doing it. But if I were, what's that process like?
The process is however you want it to be as our customer. First of all, years ago, shelters used to hire people who would come in, and first question would be, why do you want to work at the shelter? And most of them would say, because I like pets, but I don't like people. Then that's not who we hire anymore. Yeah. You've got to like people and pets, because they go hand in hand. So I'm glad to hear that was your experience for coming in. So it's what you want it to be. Okay. Do you want us to help you find a pet? Have you ever had a pet in your home? We're going to ask you a few questions of what your life is like at home, what you're looking for. If you already know what you're looking for, if you've already discovered that pet that you've always wanted and you've seen them online, perfect. We're going to go find that pet here in the shelter for you. We're going to get them out, let you play with them, let you socialize with them a little bit. Once we've done all those things with you, we'll let you decide, do you want to take them home for a while and make sure it's a good fit in the home? Okay. And that's just fostering to adopt. And while you're doing that, we give you all the supplies you need. We're going to give you a bed. We're going to give you, if it's on medication, we'll give you the medication. If he or she, we'll give you some food. We'll give you the leash, the collar, everything to be successful. If for some reason, once you get home, let's say the pet starts coughing, you call us, we'll get them into the vet right away. Okay. And then let's say you want to finalize that adoption. You can do that over the phone.
Okay.
Let's say you take the dog home and the dog just isn't what you expected, right? Because they all act a little different in the home than they do here, obviously, right? They're going to takes a few days for them to get comfortable and get to know you and your family, and for you to get to know them as well. And it just isn't a good fit. That's okay, we understand that. And all we ask is that you write us a little report card. Did the dog get along? If you had a cat, does the dog get along with children? Did the dog appear to be housebroken? Did he walk well on a leash? You know, just tell us some things about it. Bring the dog back and we'll see if we can fix you up with a different dog.
Okay.
And that's okay too. And you can foster that dog to see if it's a good fit, or you can just directly adopt the dog.
Well, it was really cool because now, we talked a little bit before we came on about, seeing certain dogs online, and then we noticed when we came in also that there were some trading cards of some of the dogs that are up for adoption, and that one of our staff, actually, Jasmine, would like to adopt, but she also is under a restriction for that type of thing. So that was really cool to see that it's not just coming in that people can kind of like do a little bit of a preview and things like that, which is a completely different thing. So I know that it's probably not hard finding volunteers all the time, but I'm sure sometimes it would be beneficial. So if somebody wanted to volunteer, maybe didn't necessarily want to foster, but wanted to volunteer here, is there a process for that? Can people do that?
Yeah, you can go online, and we've got different dates and times that we have training for volunteers, or you can just come on certain Sundays, just walk a dog. That's all. Or you can come certain days of the week where we have the community gives back.
Okay.
And you can come and make treats for the dog, you can read to a dog, you can walk a dog, you can help with enrichment for a dog. And also during that time we have just tables of excess donations that we have, that if you need something to keep your dog in your home versus giving your dog up, or just extra supplies, leashes, collars, bowls, food, it's free. Just come and take it.
That's awesome.
And so we give all those things back. And when you were talking about the playing cards that we have up front, we are considered an open selection shelter. What that means is sometimes when you see pictures online of our adoptable dogs, you can also go through our stray side. So dogs that come in an hour ago, you can go look at those dogs, even if you're not missing your dog, which means, I've always wanted a poodle. I've wanted one my entire life, right? Mm-hmm. This dog has to stay here by law for 3 days if it does not have a microchip. If it does, we keep him for about 10 days, try to get a hold of that owner to come and claim that dog. But if nobody claims it and you've always wanted this poodle, you put a hold on him.
Okay.
And so at the end of that reclaim period, if nobody's claimed him, we give you a call. And we say, hey, Mayor, would you like to come down and visit with this poodle and see if it'd be a good fit? And therefore, then you come on down, visit with the poodle, and see if it'd be a good fit.
That is awesome. I did not know that. That is actually a pretty cool thing. Do we have any questions? Anything coming across?
Nope.
All right. I didn't think so. Nobody's listening to us. They're just watching the dog.
Of
and
course.
That's fine.
And you're up for adoption too, aren't you?
You're going to be there, so that's great. Talk about friendly. Maybe a little bit interested in see if you had any more salami. I know that's what I keep hearing the sniffer going on that. Well, I appreciate it. You're more than welcome to stay, but I don't want to take you away. You have to stay because I want you to stick around for a little bit. But I do have some other fun things going on. Just making sure everybody realizes, first of all, thank you to everybody who came out for the Tomato Festival. We look right now probably about 45,000 over 3 days is what we came in, with a big high on Friday night with the concert with Drew Hill. But I also want to give a shout out to a lot of different groups in here. First of all, thank you to AEP for coming in and turning the power back on in the city after the storms last week. That was huge. And all of our parks, street, water, everybody at city, within the city that came out to help clear the grounds, while at the same time trying to fix everything else up in the city, getting everything done during it, and then of course afterwards cleaning up everything. It was huge. Like I said, attendance was pretty big. And the nice thing about this, there were no real big incidents, especially in today's day where you're kind of like, what's going to happen at these big events and all of that. There were a couple of missing children. I'm going to assume that, that was one of those things where kids kind of tend to wander away at certain points, but everybody was found and brought back. We're already looking at next year. No, I don't know what musical performers are going to be there, because I know that's usually our big question, but we'll try and do what we can to get some acts like we've had this year. But we should have the dates kind of nailed down probably by I'd say the next week or two. So that's always a good thing. Beyond that, we've got all sorts of other fun stuff going on. We have our updates on road projects. If you live on Berkey, you're going to notice that the water line has already started being replaced. So we've got that one. The rest of the residential roads are going to come across in the next couple of weeks. We have some great adult programs coming up. So some of the things that we do with our Parks and Rec staff is we actually have adult prom, which is going to be held at Eastside Brewery. It's going to be on September 19th from 6 to 9 p.m. And all of those funds are actually used to support. We have a kind of a scholarship program for youth to participate in some of our programs. So you get to dress up and get all, if you want to go full on, like the whole gown and the tuxedo type of thing, you can, or just nice, and go enjoy an evening there. So that's a lot of fun. We're also partnering with the James on a cancer informational walk session. Those are actually going to start on September 10th, 17th, and 24th at Huber Park. And then we have our Heroes for Heroes 5K on September 13th at Civic Park. We're up to about 30 some odd registrants. It's a really cool thing. It's in honor of obviously 9/11 and first responders, but it's not just a 5K. There's actually an obstacle course portion to it. You don't have to do the obstacles, but it's the same thing. Crawl through a tunnel and all of that. With all the rain we've had, I'm sure it's really good and all set to go with all the mud. We also have my next walk and talk is going to be September 10th, and that's going to be off Redden and Stouter. We'll be going through talking about anything going on from developments, community issues, things going on what streets are going to be repaired and things like that. The Franklin County Auditor's Office is going to be actually here this Saturday at our Senior Center from 9 to 5 talking about property tax evaluations. So if you have any questions about that, please go ahead and check them out. They'll be at our Senior Center. And then we have our next big kind of city event on September 11th at Huber Park. That's going to be our Blues and Brews. So a chance to sample some great beverages all the way across, as well as some good music. And then we have the Macedonian Festival on September 11th through 13th as well. So there's a ton of things going on all the way across, but nothing as much fun as petting a dog here at the shelter. Special shout out again to the Lions Club for their litter cleanup program that they did on Taylor Road. This weekend we'll have girls soccer out on a cash drop, collecting funds to help pay for some of the pay-to-play fees as school kicks off. Real big shout out while we're talking about it to, first of all schools and everybody going back to school, and the teachers out there, good luck. Reynoldsburg starts tomorrow, so good job. I was lucky enough to go to Convocation this past Monday. It was a great event to get everybody all hyped up for everything. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And with that, that pretty much wraps it up. Do we have any questions? Anything come across on this one?
Nope.
Yeah, usually when there's dogs involved, I'm not getting a lot of on-screen questions with everything. But special again, thank you very much for having us and hosting us here at the dog shelter. If you were interested in adopting a dog, you can check them out online, or you can come on in. Volunteering, you heard, pretty much anytime you want, on those Sundays especially. But there's a lot of cool things going on here for great service for basically all of our best friends that give us a little bit of smile. I know that my little Pomeranian at home is the happiest thing in the world when I come home and she jumps out of the door, all of that, so that's fun. Next week, our next guest will be from the American Cancer Society, Leo Almeida. He's going to talk a little bit about all the things going on and how we can kind of support cancer research in these day and age with all of that, because cancer sucks. And that is an official standpoint of the City of Reynoldsburg. So with that, thank you very much. Everybody be safe, be respectful, and as always, please put your shopping carts back. And if you need to, make sure you come out to the dog shelter, check the dogs out, and have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next time.